Okay, straight off the bat, y'all, I'm gonna apologize. They're working on the cemetery here, and they're cutting grass and blowing leaves and doing all those things that have to be done to keep up. We're sitting here at the Woolfolk family's grave, and there's 9 graves here. Go down. This is the daddy. We'll start with Richard here. There's the daddy first. And then I can't really see the names on these graves very well because they... Okay, this is Maddie. This was his wife, Richard's wife. This is Miss Tempe West. Now this was Maddie's aunt who lived with them. And this is Richard Jr. Richard Jr. was 20. This is Pearl. She was 17. Then that's 5 of them. Now here we go. Number 6 is the baby, Maddie. She was 18 months old. Then we got another little boy, Charlie. He was 5. Rosebud. You gotta love these names. And I cannot read. I think she was 7. Can't actually read the date of her death. And this, I think, is Ann. And Ann was 10. Okay. The biggest mass murder then and now to ever happen in Georgia without a gun. That's what it was. In fact, it's the biggest mass murder, I believe, in America without a gun. Tom Woolfolk, he was Richard's son from his first wife. Tom had 2 older sisters, and right after Tom was born, his mama died. And his daddy sent Tom and his 2 older sisters to live with their Aunt Fanny in Athens, Georgia, where they stayed for 7 years. Then Richard Woolfolk met and married Maddie. And Maddie decided that the family needed to be together, so they called Richard's 2 older daughters and his son back to live with them. Back up. When Tom was born, he was born the night before the Civil War began. The night before the Civil War started is when he was born. When he and his sisters moved back, they said that Tom was an irascible fellow, that he was not very happy, but other people said he was really cunning and really intelligent and smart. He married a woman, but she only stayed with him for 3 weeks. And she said he was mean, that he was pure and simple mean, that that's all there was to it. If it was mean, he would do it. She said he was the meanest man she ever met. One night, well, we'll go look. We'll know what night it is. August 6th, 1887. All these, they share the date of death. 1887. They were all murdered in one night in 1887. And Tom was the only one who escaped. He said he went out a window. He said he heard the killers, and they ran out the back and slammed the back door, and he heard it. And he said that he had nothing to do with it, that he didn't kill them. But he was arrested. In fact, he was spirited away by the sheriff that night to keep him from being lynched right there on the property, because everybody believed he was a killer. He had blood in his ears, and he had a bloody handprint on his leg. And they all decided right then that he had done it. Now, did he do it? I don't know. But he was found guilty. He was tried and found guilty. Took the jury 12 minutes to find him guilty. But then that case was overturned by the Georgia Supreme Court, and a new trial was put into motion because everybody was screaming, hang him, hang him, hang him, while the final words were being said, the closing arguments was being said. So they overturned that trial. Well, the second trial, he was also found guilty, and they took him 45 minutes to deliberate that time, but they found him guilty, and the next morning they sentenced him to death by hanging. He maintained his innocence up the whole time. When he went to the gallows, he said, "I'm innocent, I did not do it." He maintained his innocence. They killed him, and he's buried in Pulaski County. He's not buried here with his family. He's buried in Pulaski County with one of his sisters from his father's first marriage. A man, his name was Simon something. I can't remember his name now, but his name was Simon something. He had worked for the Woolfolks. He was a handyman, and he had worked for him. And years after they hung Tom Woolfolk for this mass murdering. That man made a full confession in South Carolina, and he gave details that they said he could not have given if he hadn't have been there, but I don't know what the outcome to all that was. So if Tom murdered him, we don't know. All we know is that this is the worst mass murdering that ever took place in the state of Georgia. Without a gun. He used an axe. No, he didn't chop him, but he hit him in the head, or he hit him in the body with that axe, and that's how he killed him. So that's the story of Tom Woolfolk. Well, that's the story of Richard Woolfolk and his family. So let's go find another story. Y'all, Tim told me last night, he said, let's go to Macon. I said, let's go to Rose Hill Cemetery. I was so excited because I wanted to tell this story. And no, I'm not macabre. It's just, this is history right here.